shoot is always a problem. Chris Chalice, who was the cinematographer, a wonderful man, would be standing there waiting for a break in the clouds to come. And it would come, we'd shoot, and finally we ended up in the south of France, shooting some of those driving scenes in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And if you look carefully, you'll notice we're driving through vineyards. Doesn't look like the English countryside at all.
Tell us a story about pirates, Daddy.
A story about pirates, huh? Well, let me see.
A boat! I can see a boat!
The question I brought up was Baron Bombers and that whole adventure real, or was it a fantasy? And it was originally written as real, and that it really happened. And we met and talked and talked and talked, and we finally decided that when Chitty starts to fly and Baron Bombers arrive, that should be fantasy.
That isn't just any old boat out there.
No?
That is a private yacht of the notorious Baron Bombers.
Bombers?
You have never heard of Baron Bombers, ruler of Bulgaria?
And I like the fact that that whole thing could be as outrageous as it was, and we could get away with it because it was a fantasy.
Hey everybody, Marcus here. Welcome back to Movie Surfers, the place to be for a behind-the-scenes look at some of today's most exciting movies. Hey, Mish, time to surf? Come on, Lindsay.
Yeah, Mish, I'm coming down. Hey, Lauren. Hey, I'm on my way. Come on, guys. Marcus, are we all queued up?
We are good to go. Join us today as we take a look at Disney and Pixar's newest film, Monsters, Inc. First, we're going to Pixar, a movie studio where the characters they create are no stranger than their animators. And Misha got to sit down with one to compare sketches.
Really nice.
Next, Lindsay meets the voice of Roz, the character in the movie.
Well, isn't that nice?
And you're not going to believe your eyes.
You play Roz?
And we have Disney Channel's Orlando Brown in the Surfer Studio.
Yes, I feel warm, a lot of love.
And finally, the voice of the abominable snowman from Monsters Incorporated is here.
Welcome to the Himalayas!
Can you guess who it is? It's all happening today. You know, because we're movie surfers, we get to see movies even before they're in the theaters. Our latest assignment was to check out Disney and Pixar's newest film, Monsters, Inc. Take a look at this.
Oh, nuts.
Disney and Pixar's Monsters Incorporated is an eye-opening look at monsters.
It's true. I saw the whole thing.
They live in a weird world called Monstropolis. One of the biggest companies in Monstropolis is called Monsters Incorporated.
We scare because we care.
A factory that produces energy from screams. You heard right, surfers. The entire city of Monstropolis is energized by kids' screams. Problem is, scaring kids is harder than you think.
What happened?
The kid almost touched me. You can't touch a child. They're toxic.
You see, in Monsters Incorporated, it's not just the kids who are scared of the monsters,
Kitty!
but the monsters are scared of the kids.
That thing is a killing machine.
La 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 la.
And things get out of control when a human kid named Boo wanders into Monstropolis. Monstropolis will never be the same until Boo is returned home. So it's up to Mike Wazowski, voiced by Billy Crystal.
Is that a joke? Tell me you're joking.
And his partner Sully, voiced by John Goodman.
I'm not going to scare you. I'm off duty.
To take it upon themselves to rescue Boo. But preventing them from their good deed is Randall. It's up to Mike and Sully to go on a wild ride to outwit Randall and return Boo to her home.
The whole movie I thought was just so cool because, like, kids are always afraid of monsters, but it was so cool to see, like, a twist in a movie where the monsters were afraid of kids.
Yeah, and then they're scared of Boo. Of all people to be scared of. It's like, ooh, we have this scary human coming in, and then you see this little girl and she's a kitty.
Yeah, and you know, the person who played her was 3 at that time, and I love that, how the voices, like, perfectly match the characters. I thought that was really cool, you know?
I was interested in the variety of characters. I mean, there were so many shapes and sizes and colors. animators. I was interested to see how the animators, came up with how the monsters should look. And that's why I got to go to Pixar to meet with some of the animators. Check it out. See that building behind me? I've been in there, and let me tell you, there's some crazy people in there. And they work in a very weird world. But don't take my word for it. Come on. First thing you notice when you visit Pixar is how big it is. But that doesn't stop the people who work here from creating their own space. Whether they have a Tiki Hut office or they work at a general store, this company isn't like any other. I wondered how the craziness at Pixar affected their work. So I asked Angus, one of the animators. So, this looks like a pretty wild place to work.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like hanging out with your best friends all day, drawing pictures and making movies.
Since this place is so wild and crazy, does that type of environment help you create characters and draw and stuff?
Well, often we work, since the animators do a lot of the acting in the movie, it's good to know who your coworkers are, and by playing together and by hanging out together, we know how to react in our own scenes.
So I noticed the place is full of drawings. Do people doodle all the time? Do you doodle?
Yeah, I doodle before every shot.
What exactly is the purpose of doodling?
To figure out what kind of action I'm going to be acting out for each shot. That's going to read on paper. Then when you get into the animation stage, it'll probably read on screen.
Did you draw back in school?
Oh, yeah.
When you were
all
bored
the
and
time.
stuff? Did that help you, get what you needed to become an animator?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it's just sticking with it.
I brought some of my drawings with me to Pixar. Before I knew it, Angus was asking to take a look at some of the doodles I've done. I tend to, draw and then abandon when I'm drawing really fast.
I do that, too. My sketchbooks look very similar as a kid, where I'd have, half of an eye on a page, be like, oh, I messed up.
Yeah, exactly. This is one that I completed.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, a lot of people think that, drawing cartoons or abstract stuff is ridiculous, yet I don't know what the right thing to draw is.
But we'd spent enough time on my doodles. It was time to take a look at Angus's stuff and see how it wound up in the movie. So how exactly do you create a character?
I get a character, I get a model, which is just like an action figure. Take, for example, Smitty and Needleman. Smitty and Needleman are both geeks, and I went and did some research. I myself am a geek. Oh, there's definitely research.
After Angus researches the characters, he makes a bunch of quick doodles to figure out how they move. Oh, so they're just fast sketches of
They're really
how
quick
they would
sketches.
move.
I'm not worried about making it look just like the character. I'm trying to get the attitude across.
Right. Once he's done with his sketches, he's ready to animate, and it winds up looking like this.
Go get him, Mr. Sullivan! Quiet! You're making him lose his focus! Oh, no! Sorry! Shut up!
After all that I learned at Pixar, I began to feel like one of the animators, and I was gonna relax. Pixar style. Back to you, surfers.
Nice hair dryer, Reach. Awesome.
Yeah.
We all know that the voices of monsters were hilarious, and the actual monsters in Monsters, Inc. were just as funny. Let's take a look.
Morning, Mike. Morning, Sally.
Hey, morning, kid. How you doing?
These creatures exist. They make you laugh. And Mike is one of the favorite characters I've ever played in anything I've ever done. And now the truth comes out. Even with him one eye is more animated than characters that I've played with two eyes.
Phil. Here comes a monster. And then there comes Phil. Kitty! Kitty! Ah!
Well, usually in these films, you'd never get to work with the people that you act with. I sort of said, we got to get John and I together. Sully's a superstar.
He does his job. He's a total professional.
He is the champion screamer.
Plus, he looks like a throw rug with horns.
You call yourself a monster?
Just a big guy with a heart of gold.
She's just your normal snake-haired gal. She works as a receptionist, and she takes her job very seriously. Fearmonger is on vacation. Would you like her voicemail? She has hair that's made out of snakes, and the snakes move and they react to things. There's actually a scene in the movie where she says, "Oh, I'm thinking about getting it cut," and the snakes go, "Ah," like that. And then Mike says, "I like your hair long," and they're like,
He's head over heels.
Googly bear.
And he is all head.
You little one-eyed cretin. Okay, first of all, it's creepy. If you're gonna threaten me, do it properly.
You need a really good villain in the movie, and that Randall is.
I'm in the zone today, Sullivan. Gonna be doing some serious scaring. He's sort of this lizard
type monster that can sort of meld into any surrounding that he's in so that you don't see him at first.
Get the picture? That can't be good.
Keep a light on, just outside, in the hallway, just in case. Because you never know what's in the closet.
And cut.
You never know what's in the closet.
Personally, I liked Randall. I mean, like, with it, how he could blend in and the sounds
It sounded
yeah, like
definitely cool.
yeah.
I'm just gonna have to stick with Boo, though.
She cute, yeah. You know, I still think that my man Mike Wazowski is the man.
See, you know, I think Sully is the man because it's just like Billy Crystal said, he's just a big guy with a heart of gold, you know? And I could totally relate to Sully, too, because he had the biggest fear of kids, and I recently got a chance to face one of my biggest fears. All right, surfers, it's time to be totally honest. No matter how cool we may think we are, everyone is afraid.
I still take a peek under my bed before I go to bed every night.
Scared of dogs.
Spiders.
I always knew this witch's head was going to come up and just look in the window. I always just knew that.
I'm scared of snakes.
There was a couple of aunts of mine.
Going to school.
Darling was so bad.
I'm scared of mouse cookies.
Yeah, that was scary to me.
Well, in monsters, it's a lot to be afraid of. But it's not who are afraid of the monsters. The monsters who are afraid of the kids. Oh!
There's a kid here! A human kid!
Well, I have to conquer my biggest fear. Roller coasters. And since Mike and go on a wild ride to overcome their fear of kids,
Down!